A very good morning to my fellow judges and my fellow lecturers. And today I'm going to present about my final year project is with the title of Smoke Detection System. And first of all, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Agustin Anak Lawrence Renang from class DEP4A with registration number of 20DEP19F1006, and my supervisor is Puan Emilia Elias Emil binti Hassan. And the content of my presentation is introduction, problem statement, objectives, literature review, methodology, result and discussion, project demonstration, and conclusion. For introduction, a smoke alarm is critical for early detection of a fire in your home and could mean the difference between life and death. Fires can occur in a variety of ways and in any room of your home, but no matter where or how, having a smoke alarm is the first key step towards your family's safety. This document is intended to inform you about some of variety safety aspects and importance of having and maintaining working smoke alarms, and it is not all inclusive. For my problem statement, every year in Malaysia, about 2,000 people lose their lives in residential fires. In a fire, smoke and deadly gases tend to spread farther and faster than heat. That's one reason why most of fire victims die from inhalation or breathing of smoke and toxic gases, not from burns. A majority of fatal fires happen when families are asleep because occupants are unaware of the fire until there is no adequate time to escape. Smoke alarm stands guard around the clock, and where the first sensor smokes, it sounds like a shrill alarm. About 2/3 of home fire deaths occur in homes with no smoke alarms or no working smoke alarms. And for my objectives, the first one is reduces the risk of death by half in the event of fire. And second, reduces material losses since the firefighters are called to the scene of the fire sooner. And third is to build a smoke detector by using an MQ2 sensor and Arduino Uno. Next slide is literature review. A structure fire is a fire involving structure components of various residential buildings ranging from single-family detached homes and townhouses to apartments and tower blocks, or various commercial buildings ranging from offices to shopping malls. This is in contrast to room and contents fire, chimney fires, vehicle fires, wildfires, or outdoor fires. Structure fires typically have a similar response from the fire department that include engines, ladder trucks, rescue squads, chief officers, and an EMS unit, each of which have specific initial assignments. Structure fire has many types of variation, such as first one is fire resistive, non-combustible, and the third is ordinary, and etc. And the component that I'm using for my project 2 is Arduino Uno. Arduino Uno is an open source electronics platform based on easy to use hardware and software. Arduino boards are able to read inputs like a sensor, a finger on a button, or a Twitter message and turn it into an output. It will activating a motor, turning on an LED, which is I'm using for my smoke alarm system, and publishing something online. You can tell your board what to do by sending a set of instruction, which is using Arduino IDE software to the microcontroller on the board. To do so, you use an Arduino programming language, which is C+ or C++, based on wiring, and the Arduino software IDE based on processing. And the second components that I'm using is MQ2 sensor. Figure above shows a gas sensor MQ2 sensor. A gas sensor MQ2 sensor module is useful for gas leakage detecting in home and industry. It can detect H2, LPG, CH4, CO, alcohol, smoke, and propane. Based on its fast response times, measurements can be taken as soon as possible. Also, the sensitivity can be adjusted by the potentiometer by using screwdriver. Excuse me. And the third components and most important components for my smoke alarm is buzzer. The two most common technologies used in buzzer designs are magnetic and piezo. Many applications use either a magnetic or piezo buzzer, but the decision regarding which of the two technologies to use is based upon many different constraints. Magnetic buzzers operate at low voltage and higher currents, which is 1.5 until 12 volt higher than 20 milliampere, compared to piezo buzzers, which is 12 volt until 220 volt less than 20 milliampere, while piezo buzzers often have greater maximum sound pressure level, which is called SPL capability, than magnetic buzzers. However, it should be noted that the greater SPL available from piezo buzzers requires larger footprints. And for the methodology for my smoke detection system, in this chapter, this project will talk about the casing design of the project, flowchart of the project, and the block diagram. Chapter 3 concentrates on the project methodology. This chapter explains in detail the overview for all steps built in this project, the procedure to develop the project in hardware development and software development. And for software development, the first picture, which is circuit for smoke detection system, and I designed it using Tinkercad software, which is you can find it on Google. And the second and the third picture is my coding for smoke detection system, and I'm using an Arduino Uno IDE software. And then next is 3D design, and then I'm also using Tinkercad software in Google for me to design the 3D for my project. In this 3D design, I'm putting a 9 volt battery to my smoke detection alarm or smoke alarm, but we also can use a adapter or power supply adapter to turn it on for it work properly. And then second and third pictures is my hardware development. The second picture shown my circuit, and then the third picture is my final results for my project. The first and then my next slide is my flowchart. First, we start to literature review, preparation the component and equipment needed, and then design the circuit. If the circuit is not compatible for my smoke alarms, we must redo all the steps. 2. Literature review and preparation the component and equipment needed. If the design of the circuit is a success, we can continue to hardware and software that develop. If the hardware and software that develop is not working properly, we must redesign the circuit for it can be used properly. And then we test and troubleshoot the system or the circuit that we have developed, and if it's not working properly, we must do the hardware and software that we develop all over again until it's successful for testing and troubleshooting. And then after testing and troubleshooting, we must do the casing for our project, and lastly the final report for our project. For the entirely cost of my components is 64 ringgit and 73 cents. The first item that I'm using is Arduino Uno, and which is cost 34 ringgit and 51 cents. And the 9-volt battery and adapter, I'm using one quantity of 9-volt battery, which is cost 3 ringgit and 60 cents, and adapter is 12 ringgit and 70 cents. I forgot to put the cost of the adapter. And next is jumper cable. I'm using 2 sets of jumper cable, male to male and male to female, which is cost 70 ringgit and 77 cents. Next is LED, and also using the 2 sets of LED, which is red and green. One LED which is cost 20 cents, and all 2 sets cost by 20 cents. Next is resistor. I'm using 3 sets of resistor, which is 100 ohm, 22 k or kilo ohm, and finally 1 kilo ohm of resistor, which is all 3 sets cost 15 cents. Next is MQ2 sensor, which is the cost of the MQ2 sensor is 7 ringgit and 50 cents, and lastly buzzer, which is cost 1 ringgit. All the total amount is 64 ringgit and 73 cents. For the sustainability of the environment, if the smoke detector is broken, do not break it into pieces and breathe the dust. Avoid doing those two things, and you will be perfectly safe during disposal. The smoke detector itself is electronic waste and should be handled according, so find an electronic recycler and give it to them, and avoid to handle it alone or by yourself, or it will risk your health and life. And this is for my project demonstration. I'm gonna play it right now.
Selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera kepada panel juri. Hari ini saya akan membuat demonstration untuk projek saya, itu bertajuk Smoke Detection System ataupun kawalan pengesan asap. Dan ini adalah bentuk ataupun model projek saya, smoke detection system saya. Dan ini adalah MQ2 sensor, LED warna merah dan LED warna hijau. LED warna hijau ini memberitahu kita apabila tiada haba ataupun tiada gas yang dikesan, dia akan tetap warna hijau. Jadi kalau dia berwarna merah, maksudnya ada gas ataupun asap yang dikesan oleh smoke MQ2 sensor. Jadi untuk sementara ini projek saya tiba-tiba tidak berfungsi dengan baik secara tiba-tiba. Mungkin ada masalah dengan wiring ataupun coding dia. Saya dah mencuba berbanyak-banyak kali dan minta maaf saya tidak dapat menunjukkan secara virtual untuk demonstrasi kegunaan projek saya ini. Itu saja demonstrasi untuk projek saya. Sekian, terima kasih.
And once again, I'm gonna apologize for my project demonstration. Failed to demonstrate it to all fellow judges about my project because I don't know why the smoke sensor or the components in the circuit is not working properly. The other day it working properly and can sense gases, smoke and heat, but today is not working properly. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the jumper cable or the MQ2 sensor is not sensing the smoke or gases properly, and it's not triggering the buzzer to make the alarm. And my project impact. First point is, from the impact of this invention, the smoke detector has been an essential part in helping protect those from potentially life-threatening results. While a smoke detector cannot extinguish a fire, it can help those affected in the area from being harmed by the fire. My smoke detector device is more simple and cheap than other smoke detector devices in other places. Other products usually use a Wi-Fi module or ESP8266, which is I've been searching this whole project 1 and 2 that I have found in Google. They're all using a Wi-Fi module ESP8266 because it is capable of connecting Wi-Fi and updates the sensor value to the website, while my product does not use the Wi-Fi module because I want to minimize my budget, and it is working perfectly like any other smoke detector out there. And the second slide is for my suggestions for my project, for my smoke alarm improvement in the future. In the future, I will be using a Wi-Fi module ESP8266 for further installation for my project. Putting a push button so that when the buzzer from the device starts to ring, we can stop it from ringing too long because it will consume a lot of electrical power. And lastly, for the conclusion for all my presentation and my project 2, in conclusion, my project, a smoke detection system using Arduino Uno, is one of the most important applications in houses and buildings because the product is very useful for a lot of people to prevent any other trouble that will lead to fire in houses or buildings. The price of this product is also affordable and worth it, that can be used easily, and all the procedures from this project can be consuming more easier with the detailed procedure given. And that's all for my project 2 presentation, which is smoke detection system or smoke alarms. And that's all for me. Thank you and goodbye.